Hi, everyone, and welcome. I thought I would share with you this very inexpensive deck that I found on Amazon. And if you watch, it comes up about every 3 months. I saw for about 12 bucks. So finally, I jumped in and got it. But there are pluses and minuses that we can go through. The plus comes with a great box, and this is put out by Sterling Ethos, and it says Text 2024. You can see the authors there and the artist. And it was the artistry that drew me in. It is a nice magnetic box, very simple inside, and a few of her creations showing on the back. So if you look down below there, it says $32.99. I did not pay that. I waited and purchased it for the $12. So the box is okay. The cards. Now, I gotta tell you that these cards are terrible cardstock. Absolutely terrible. They feel more like a Cheerio box. So it says here, welcome to Sherwood, and this is the cover card that comes with it. I haven't shuffled these cards or anything. I just took the wrapper off and took a quick little look. And as you can see, it says, and many one sings of grass, and many one sings of corn, and many one sings of Robin Hood, kens little where he was born. Come on. The back, it's so washed out and drained compared to the richness and colors on the front of the cards. They are numbered. But what I discovered too is, other than these being so cheap, that when you use the poster that comes along with it, this is the map of the magical dimensions showing the 9 places for you to put your cards on. What I noticed is when you put your card on it, you're covering up the title of the location, the place that you are visiting. Now, it talks on the map about having 9 places that you can place your cards on. You draw 9 character cards after you shuffle. You lay them in the order that you have picked them, starting in the north. And then it says you read from the major oak. So far, this is what I've got from it. And it looks kind of nice on here, but it is annoying that you're going to have to be moving the cards to see, okay, now where was that? And find the questions that go with that to inspire your reading. Now, let's take a moment and look at the cards because, yes, the artwork is gorgeous. And I feel that it's not getting its just rewards being in this sort of manner that it's being presented, because I don't think many people will use this map. I've had these maps with several other of John Matthews' decks, and they're just annoying. They're oversized, and you need so much room to actually do a layout. And I have some difficulties with some of the things in the book. But let's lower the camera and take a look at the cards. I guess if you had time and energy, you could put a different back on it and make these cards better. Because if you were to spill anything on these or a hard shuffle, they're going to bend. Not great. But look at the art. So Anne Yvonne Gilbert is the artist. Now I did notice too that even though in the book it gives a tree dedicated to each card, you don't get the tree indicated on here. And I think it wouldn't be too much to move the wording Robin Hood over a little bit and put the tree that you could access information from magically and bring to the reading. So let's just wander through. There's Robin Hood, Maid Marian, and this is an oracle, not a tarot. Yeah, maybe the backs could have been more natural colors of browns and the richness that these have on them. And plus, if they're on your little sheet, you can see that they don't stand out terrifically. So there is tuck. And there's some details to be seen. And if you do like to work with plant magic, you could bring all of that towards this. That's an absolutely gorgeous portrayal of this gentleman. The facial features and the details are really nice. If you're a Robin Hood fan, I guess you can pick out every one of these characters. Even down to the tools. There's distance to some of the cards. Good looking dude with his bow at hand. So the tree is quite prominent in each of the cards so far. But there's one without. That's the sheriff. And because it is set in Sherwood Forest, I can understand why they brought and gave each of them a tree to represent characteristics you could dive into. The prioress. These would make fabulous posters for the wall. And I guess if you didn't want to use them as an oracle, certainly beautiful artwork that could be combined somehow in a display. The lovely green lady. Some of the wee folk. Now it did talk about this, and it says something so far that I have found that the Houdners represents folklore, a little bit of fae, a little bit of magic. So these are part, I guess, of the destinations. The major oak. A lovely bower. Nottingham Castle. Hearn's Cavern. There's another face over there. This is the Green Grove. The Priory. Beautiful line work. That's a nice one. The Way Through the Woods. I think I'd be wanting to take my Oracle journey with that as the initiation card and see where it went. So the cards, yes, artwork, beautiful, quality, not so good. And when it comes to the book, it's a good sized book. Love the cover. And you do get some images inside. But if I go to the front, start at the beginning here, what I found odd for me, I'm after the divination ability of the deck. I'm after the magic and the folklore. And there's quite a few pages here in the front where it talks about spending time in the forest and bringing along shelter, whether that be sleeping bags, tents, what have you. It goes into what you're going to use to start your fire and be in the woods. And it just didn't seem to be needed in the book. There's a whole section on foods, and there's another section on water and purifying tablets and things like that. It just seemed to take the magic out of the whole oracle. So there's a section there at the front that I don't think is necessary and takes away from the deck itself. Now, when it comes to the cards, there is a nice section here that talks about, how the deck is divided up. And there, if it comes into focus, there it is. That gives you the plant that goes along. So it's a little bit of a directory there for the trees that go along with it. You can see the breakdown there of further sections. And then we get into what you get for actually Robin Hood. So as I say, it would have been nice to have the tree on there. In this image, it looks like it's totally borderless with nothing, but we just saw the cards. They do have titles down below and numbers, and I do appreciate the numbers for fast lookup. So you're getting a little bit of a verse. You're getting an introduction to Robin Hood. Keywords. You're going to be, in several of his decks, there's ways to work with the card or the character as a companion or a challenger. You can do a blessing, and there's your information, not very much on the tree. There's tree words that go along with that and some questions. And I think it goes into further questions when you move around the map and land in certain areas. There is also a large section dealing with the map at the back. But overall, not my favorite Oracle purchase. Yes, it was $12. I have to make some concessions there for sure. And think about, I guess, just using it for myself, never with anyone else in case the cards got damaged, because I'm not a person who likes to work with damaged cards. And I have seen some people quite successfully reback some of their cards that they didn't like the backs to. But that's quite a lot of effort. And if you should screw up, that would be disappointing. So there are pluses and minuses to this deck. I did see one review and I did like the images, so I went ahead and purchased it. But I don't recall whether they said anything about the quality of the card stock. And for some lately that I see on YouTube, That's very important. So I just thought I'd put this out there. If you see it up for sale and, you can edge it and give it some beauty that it seems to be lacking, it might be something that you want to purchase. And if you're a Robin Hood fan, into the forest of Sherwood, it might be worth the $12 investment. Watch some reviews, make your own decisions, of course. And that is me signing off with the pluses and minuses of the Sherwood Oracle.